Um, I'm thinking though, and leaning more towards that, organizations maybe need to rethink this. You know, Aikido is very old, kind of old. You know, it's a new art. But this thought that only using these strikes, because we have the current generation and the future generation, right? And we have a lot of competition about getting people who are interested in keeping learning it. And if all we're catering to is the 60, 70, and 80-year-old person, you know, you're going to be a
Well,
big gap.
no, I mean, you brought up some
Keeping the
good
art.
points, but
Yeah.
I look what Toyota Shihan and Toyota Sensei, Steven Sensei's continuing to give us those roots. But, you know, they're teaching us some beautiful, strong roots of Aikido. But I think it's kind of up to us to take it a notch higher in our own individual dojo of what we want to really show and expand on it in a positive way. Maybe
You
one
feel
day.
that maybe the curriculum has become stagnant and then it's not evolving and changing?
But then there's the question, do we really need to change? Why can't we keep the strong roots, make them stronger? What's already there instead of trying to reinvent it. I think we can add to what we have and make it strong because I think it's
Add to.
there's only one technique and that's the one that works. Now you can play with that, what
I
I
like,
just said.
yes, the one that works.
So we got so much in Aikido, what was handed down to us by Toyota Shihan, that it's there. And I think we can just, I don't like the word change. We need to change and move on and because it's getting old. I think it's all there to grow upon, to keep watering it and fertilize it. It's all there. And I like I said, there's only one technique and that's the one that works and it's all there.
Yeah, I think you hit a point here real quick, the word change. And I like to address that because Aikido is supposed to be a spiritual aspect also. And I think that if you're going to go and look at the spiritual side of Aikido or the mental side of Aikido, and you have issues about, well, changing the art and you get a negative feeling towards that, well, I challenge that because the number one root, you know, where Aikido's roots are not, you know, Christianity, even though there's a lot of beautiful in that area. So we have to look at where the art's coming out of. And basically, you're getting to the point that it moves into a Taoist philosophy, Shinto, all these different areas. And when you really get down to it, life is changing. That which is static dies. And even old sensei said, hey, create, you know, make it go. And I think maybe Aikido is got to that point where no, I rigid, you know, no change, traditional. I think your phrasing of adding to it is very good. And to me, when I hear that phrasing, it just means, oh, we're changing, but we're not throwing the baby out with the bathwater.
Right. I just don't like that word change because
Change, yeah.
we got such a gift. I don't want to change our gift, but I'm sure going to shine and polish that gift. I'm going to cherish it. I'm going to protect it, and
Yeah.
it's going to be a shinier star on that hill every day, more and more.
How do you think we? How does Aikido get better in striking? And I'm talking about the community as whole. You know, maybe maybe there's people out there that are going, no, Aikido striking is very effective, and you know, when you see what's going on there, you know, I'm not dealing with the great Aikidoists that have shown the discipline, that are showing how beautiful striking can be. I'm talking about, it seems that's the minority. The majority seems like people don't know what the heck they're doing sometimes on striking. So let's come back at that point. How do we as a community look at this elephant in the eyes and go, hey, you know, how do we change that elephant? Or not that word change, right? How do we make it better?
It's up to you, the instructors. I mean, you got to demo it, set example for the students, and just emphasize your intentional commitment. What is the goal of what you're doing? We should have a goal every time you show a technique. What's our goal in this technique? You know, what is the goal of this strike? Well, I want to punch them. Okay, well, why are you punching them? Okay, so you got to have.
You want to study Aikido, and right. that's a yeah. Oh, in the dojo, actually taking time to study a technique, and yeah, that's an elephant in the room. Well,
yeah, that's another time of play. So I can break down, you know, one technique and spend, you know, 4 weeks on it, and because there's so much to every technique when you really break it down, and
so you're saying that the responsibility seems to be lying on the instructors. How about the dojo cho?
Well, that's what I mean, the dojo cho, absolutely, and our leadership, absolutely.
Yeah, leadership
Absolutely.
leading into those who belong to an organization, right? Um, yeah, I agree that if there's no desire within the dojo cho to look at it and realize it's a skill set that makes the energy be given to the nage to perfect. Because there's a big difference of perfecting your skill set from a weak, unskillful strike versus someone coming at you, not even full speed, with good basic solid. You're in a different world. So if the dojo cho doesn't have the desire, or and that's why I dealt with that part about, oh, it's not a self-defense. I don't think that stands up when we really inquire into it. I also feel though that the instructors, like you're saying, it's not what we say or what we're doing, it's what we tolerate that drops those standards, right?
Well, on that, you got to decipher between perfection and a student doing 100% of what they can do. So we can't have these criteria of everybody being in perfection.
Right. Yeah,
I
definitely.
want to, my definition of perfection is that student is doing the most perfect he can do right now. And that's at all levels.
Mm-hmm.
So he's giving 100% effort. And it may look like a C strike to me, but man, he's giving an A plus strike, doing the best he can for that individual person. So
What
we
if
have
they
to,
continuously do C strikes?
and
We're
that's the,
talking about us coming along this way, like in a yokomen.
well, there's different students will progress at different levels, as you know. If that's the best they're doing,
I
uh,
don't know.
I mean,
I'm
but
buying that.
what are you going to do if they can't pass a certain level? They have to stay at that level.
Yeah, but
Um,
you're not talking brain surgery here, man.
no,
We're
I
talking
understand that, but
step forward, bring
hey,
slow down.
no, I agree.
Repetition, right?
I agree, but each individual student is different. Hey, I agree 100% with you. I want 100% all the time, and I want everybody to strive for their perfection.
Yeah, no, I'm not talking about 100% all the time. Like Musashi said, every day I get a little bit better. Van Gogh, Michelangelo, all these people don't every time, just started off from the
I
beginning
agree,
doing it
but
great.
look at the economics of the real dojo. There's certain students there that we've all had. It just doesn't improve, but we can't kick them
Mhm.
out. We keep them and give them the best we can as instructors, dojo cho.
You
And
open a rabbit hole.
I
I
know,
like
I
it.
know, but I'm just saying is that's their level, and they will progress at their own time. But we have to have criteria, and we got to
Yeah,
stick to that criteria.
I agree with you. And that's
Another
actually
rabbit
another
hole,
elephant in the room
right?
about what do we do with students that don't seem to progress. I would like to just put on that. If we're true to these, what are they, click phrases that we say, there are no bad students, only bad instructors. So if that's, so we'll
Yeah.
drop that right now, and we'll have fun with that on the other
Well, we
areas.
can sit there and also say there's no such thing as advanced technique, only basic technique done well. We
Yes,
could
very
that's a
good. I
whole
agree.
subject, you know.
So in striking, as we're coming wrapping this up, I think it's really important that we look this elephant in the eye, and that we realize that, hey, the basics are not that hard. I think the issue is it's confusing that I don't have to learn the basics of this skill and perfect it because Aikido is not a striking art.
It's up to the instructors. What kind of instructors you have out there. You got
Yes.
teachers that fell into teaching. They don't have what it takes. You got instructors that fell into teaching. They love it, and they do awesome. And others that wanted to teach but can't, and others that teach and they become great instructors. So you get all different out
Yeah.
there.
So that's dealing with the current instructors, the upcoming instructors, the next generation, right? So there's this thing I like to talk about a lot with my students in the dojo: activity versus results. So if we stood back right now and we looked on the YouTube and we looked at, say, 100 videos, I think you get a sampling from a research standpoint. I'm going to sample that, and I kick back and I say I'm going to go and look at just the striking, because what I'm looking for is people who have decided I'm going to show this out in the world. Right? Once you do that, the world's going to look right. So let's
And
say we
never
take
forgive
that.
you either.
Pardon?
And never forgive you either for that permanent video that's out there forever.
Yes, very good. So if I did a sample testing, what I'm looking at is seeing what the results of not teaching correctly and allowing that part of the art, the striking art as a skill, dropping. I would look at that, and then that would give me the truth of what's happening inside the dojos.
Well, there's repercussions with that. And as you know, you're diluting the art. You're giving a false sense of security on the street to a student, and you're diluting our art, and you're cheating our art. You're cheating that time on the mat, which is precious. So
yeah, I think with that statement, that was a beautiful statement. When you said that, I noticed the elephant went, oh, and it kind of started walking off the mat like, oh, you guys are finally dealing with me in this area. I agree. If we don't, so on that, what are the repercussions if we don't deal with this as an Aikido community? Because the bottom line is once you put it out on YouTube, Vimeo, you're going to have other arts look at that. And then, they're going to critique it, and they're going to call BS when it needs to be called, right? And then we have their knee-jerk reaction is, well, I don't care what they say. Well, that's true, but if we stay with a Buddha mind, and even on the spiritual side, that's really good because that's the sharpening of the sword. I have to have the opposite that's saying, no, that's not good. Oh, why is it not good? I'm sharpening my sword. I'm sharpening my spirit. So if we go in and try to have this illusion, I call it the stranglehold of illusion, that no, I don't know, they don't understand the art, or no, I don't have to be responsible for what I'm doing. How you're not sharpening the sword. So what is your feeling on that point about the repercussions of the community of Aikido presenting to the world, the current generation? What's the repercussions?
Well, the repercussion is you have to think to yourself, are you that closed-minded to what you're doing? Because there's a price to pay. Whatever you set it out there, do you want business? Do you not want business? Sometimes, you got to stick to your guns, what you really believe in, but to a point, you got to look at a dojo as a socioeconomic place, depending on how you want to deal with it.
That's a good one.
I mean, where do you start?
I'm not into making money for my dojo.
Well, we had a karate studio down the street from my dojo, and it was Kempo. All right, and the instructor was a real not nice person, and he had a reputation that I'd walk by there every day going to my office, and guess how many people were in there most of the time? Hardly any. Yeah. He had to close down. He was a real jerk, and wasn't a nice person. So, he may have been committed to his art, committed to what he was, and only wanted it a certain way, because that's what I heard. He was only, just one way, and he lost. So we have to be open to a lot of things, but yet got to be strong on our roots. I think you can have both if you do it right.
Yeah, I think so. As far as the future of it, in Sun Tzu, when you study the art of war, you have a responsibility as looking at maybe a dojo cho, is to get the feel of the land, to get the feel of what the community is looking for, where the art is going, because you're actually taking a step. And I've talked to a lot of dojo chos that eventually they said to me, as I went through the rankings, it wasn't so deep in this feeling, but now I have a more sense of responsibility to the art.
Yeah.
Right. So if the repercussions, then if we don't look at this and we don't start taking it serious on just a small little area to improve the art, then we're doing what I feel is called doing the same thing and expecting different results. And that's insanity. Right, and the way that we can find out if we're making progression is by our results, not by activity, by results. And it will be interesting to hear the comments that people have on this topic, my friend.
No, I think you brought up some just wonderful points, and so many areas need to be addressed. That's nice. We're questioning it. We're commenting on it. Because it's just such a beautiful art that we need to preserve even more than ever. I'm more committed now than I've ever been in my Aikido career to preserving what the roots have been handed down to us, making them shine and
Yes.
growing with it. So I did not use the word change. All right.
That's okay. No problem, buddy.
I just want to make it shine so bright that the world sees it. And that's our goal.
Yes. Hey, I really appreciate your time, your insights, and clarification stuff was greatly appreciate it, my friend.
Yeah.
And
thank you so much, Eugene. That was fun.
I look forward to on our next dealing with the elephants in the room.
Well, I think you just created a lot of baby elephants because I'm seeing them all walk around my room now, and they're all pink.
Very good. And remember, I hope it's not because you drank before you got on the on the podcast.
I don't drink enough. That's my problem.
There we go, buddy. Hey, I appreciate your time, and you take care, my friend.
All right. Peace, my friend. Take care. Bye-bye.